You want to know the fastest way to expose a secret? Pretend you already know. She kissed your cheek at the door and said she would be home late. Girls' night? No need to wait up. You smiled, nodded, and let her walk right into her own lie. Because you already knew about Jake. The late messages, the hidden calls, the perfume that wasn't yours. You said one sentence that changed everything. Hope you and Jake enjoy. Her face drained. Her keys slipped from her hand, and the woman who walked out confident came rushing home terrified. But before I tell you what happened that night, do not forget to subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. You want to know the fastest way to expose a secret? Pretend you already know. That line played in your head all day. You watched your wife move around the house with nervous hands and fake smiles. She wore the dress she never wore for you. She spritzed perfume twice. She checked her phone every few minutes, locking the screen as soon as you walked near. She kept saying she was fine. She kept saying she was going out with friends. You said nothing. You waited. When sunset arrived, she stepped into the hallway with her purse and heels. You leaned on the door frame and watched her try not to shake. She met your eyes with a smile that looked glued in place. I will be late, she said. Girls' night. Drinks. You know how they are. You nodded. Don't wait up, right? She froze for half a second. Then she nodded. Yes, something like that. Her voice cracked. You heard it. She heard it too. You walked closer and fixed the collar of her jacket. Her breath hitched. She looked past you instead of at you. You lowered your voice. Hope you and Jake enjoy. Her body went stiff. Her lips opened, but no sound came out. Her eyes darted across your face, hunting for a joke that did not exist. Whoa, what? She said. You stepped back. Calm. Steady. You heard me. Her fingers slipped. Keys hit the floor. She scrambled for them, cheeks pale, eyes wide. She tried to speak, but everything tangled in her throat. You turned away and walked to the living room, leaving her in the doorway with her guilt wrapped around her neck. She picked up the keys and rushed after you. Who is Jake? She asked. You did not look up. You know? No, I do not. You are being weird. Then go. Meet your friends. Have your night. She stared at you with trembling eyes. Tell me why you said that. You placed your phone on the table and crossed your arms. Why do you look scared? I am not. Then go. Her hands shook harder. You're trying to trap me. No, you said. I am giving you a choice. Leave this house and prove what you are hiding. Or sit down and talk. She swallowed hard. Her eyes went glossy. You had seen her cry before. Slow tears. Quiet sobs. But this was different. This was panic. She dropped her purse on the couch and whispered, Please tell me what you know. You faced her. I know enough. Her voice shook. Enough for what? To end us. She covered her mouth with her hand and stared at you like you ripped the floor out from under her. I swear there is nothing going on. You are reading things wrong. So you and Jake are not meeting tonight? She blinked fast. No, I am going out with Emily and Sarah. They planned a late dinner. Your phone buzzed on the table. Same familiar number. Same message preview. See you soon. You picked up the phone. Turned the screen toward her. Her face fell apart. You opened the message. Traffic looks light. Meet me at the hotel in 30 minutes. Room paid. Bring the same dress. I want you. She pressed her hands to her face and sobbed. Her knees wobbled. She sat before she fell. You stood in front of her, silent. She looked up through tears. I blocked that number. So how did he text you? Her voice cracked. He used a different phone. You gave him this address once, you said. He used it again. She shook her head fast. We talked. That is all. No dates, no hotel. I never touched him. You were going to. No. You wore the dress for him. She went silent. That was the answer. You sat across from her. How long? She cried harder. A few weeks. You waited. He messaged me first. He said he wanted to catch up. He asked how I was. He said he missed my smile. I liked the attention. I liked feeling wanted. You clenched your jaw. You are married. You promised loyalty. I know, she whispered. I did not sleep with him. I swear. But I wanted to see him. I wanted to feel special. You wanted a backup plan. She shook her head. No. You wanted a man in case this marriage fell apart. She lowered her face. Silence told truths words never would. You leaned back. You deleted messages, hid calls, changed passwords. You thought you were safe. She wiped her eyes. I did not want to hurt you. You hurt me the moment you answered him. She stared at you, breathing uneven. I will cut him off. Right now. I will show you. Please give me a chance. You were on your way to a hotel, you said. There is nothing to explain. I did not leave yet. You planned to. She shook her head weakly. I do not want him. I want you. Your voice stayed cold. Walk upstairs. Pack a bag. Leave this house. Go to a friend. Think about what you threw away. Her face twisted in shock. Please do not say that. You betrayed our trust. I did not cheat. You planned to. She sobbed. I love you. Love is not secret rooms and hidden nights. She dropped to her knees in front of you. Please, I will delete him. I will switch jobs. I will never speak to him again. I know I messed up. I know I broke something sacred. But please do not throw me away. You stepped back. Her hands fell to her sides. Pack a bag, you said. She hesitated. Now. She stood slowly and walked toward the stairs. Every step sounded like guilt hitting the floor. She went into the bedroom. You heard drawers open, a suitcase roll, clothes thrown in, soft crying behind the door. You stared at the hotel message on your screen, words that cut deeper than any wound you ever felt. She came back down, suitcase in hand, eyes swollen, hands trembling. Where do you want me to go? Anywhere but here. She reached out like she wanted one last hug. You stepped away. She nodded with shaking lips. She opened the door and stepped onto the porch. Before she walked off, she turned around with a face filled with pain. Will I be allowed to come home? You stared at her. We will see. She closed the door behind her. Yes, you stood in the doorway long after she left. The street was quiet. The suitcase wheels scraped across the concrete until the sound faded. You shut the door. The house felt empty, but not lonely. More like something poisonous had lifted. You walked to the table and stared at the phone screen again. Same message, same words. Proof. Painful clarity. You deleted nothing. You wanted the truth to stay visible. You sat on the couch, hands on your knees. Hours passed. No calls, no messages. Not from her. Not from Jake. Silence can be peaceful. But that night, silence felt like the end of something you once trusted with your whole heart. Around midnight, your phone buzzed. Not a call, a text from her sister. What happened? She's at my house crying. You typed one word. Ask her. No more responses. The house stayed dark. You slept maybe an hour, maybe less. Your mind replayed every moment. Her lies, her dress, her shaking hands, the hotel room. By morning, you made a decision. You got in your car, drove across town, stopped in the parking lot of a quiet building. The hotel from the message. You walked inside and asked the front desk if a room had been reserved under a certain name. Jake's name. The receptionist checked the screen. Yes, she said. Last night, room 2114. And the guest? You asked. Only one checked in. You nodded and thanked her. A small part of your heart cracked. Because if she had come, she would have been alone with him. No witnesses. No excuses. The receptionist asked if you needed anything else. You shook your head and left. Back home, you sat at the kitchen table. The house was still. Your phone buzzed again. This time, her message, I blocked him. I deleted everything. I want to come home. You didn't answer. An hour passed, then another. Then her sister called. You let it ring. Around noon, she showed up at the door, eyes swollen, hair a mess, wearing the same clothes as the night before. She knocked softly. Please open, she whispered through the door. Please talk to me. You did nothing. She knocked again, harder. I know I hurt you. I know you are done looking at me. But I will stand here all day until you come out. You still didn't move. Minutes passed. The knocking stopped. You heard footsteps walking away. Then silence again. You thought she left. But a few moments later, your phone buzzed. You checked the camera feed on your door. She sat on the porch floor, knees pulled to her chest, crying into her hands. Not loud, not dramatic, quiet tears of someone who finally realized what she risked. The hours crawled. You went to the kitchen, cooked, ate alone. You checked the camera again. She was still there. By sunset, she stood and knocked again. Please, she said, I am not going anywhere. You can hate me. You can scream at me. But please, do not shut me out. You opened the door. She stepped back, surprised. Her eyes searched your face. Can I come inside? No, she nodded slowly. Can we talk out here? Yes, she exhaled. I blocked him. I wrote a message telling him never to contact me again. I sent it from my phone, my laptop, my work email. He is gone. I am done. You folded your arms. You only did it because you got caught. She shook her head. No, I did it because I almost lost you. I did not see clearly until last night. You were on your way to a hotel. I know. You dressed for him. I know. You hid messages. Yes. You lied to my face. She closed her eyes. I know, and I will spend the rest of my life regretting it. You leaned against the doorframe. Why him? She wiped her cheeks. He made me feel wanted. He said all the things I wanted to hear. I got caught up in attention. I felt alive. I thought it was harmless at first. I told myself I deserved it. I told myself I would stop before anything went too far. But you didn't stop. She shook her head. No, I didn't. Silence again. You watched her chest rise and fall. Her hands shook. She took a breath. I understand if you divorce me, she said. I understand if you never want to see me again. But before you decide, let me tell you the full truth. You didn't speak. She continued. He texted me months ago, after a reunion. I didn't respond at first. Then I did. One message turned into two. Then it turned into every day. He flirted. I flirted back. I never met him in person. I never touched him. But I wanted to. And that alone is betrayal. You nodded. She didn't sugarcoat anything. She didn't blame you. She didn't blame stress or boredom or loneliness. She pointed every weapon at herself. I wanted to feel admired, she said. I wanted someone to look at me the way you looked at me years ago. Instead of working on our marriage, I took the easy path. And I broke us. You stared at the ground. I gave you everything. I know. All you had to do was talk to me, she nodded. I was scared. I didn't want you to see me as weak. I didn't want to admit I needed attention from someone else. You should have come to me. I failed you. She stepped closer. You didn't move. I will go to therapy, she said. I will go to counseling with you. I will change my number. I will quit my job if I have to. I will cut every connection to him. I will give you full access to my phone, my accounts, my messages. Her voice cracked. You do not deserve me asking for forgiveness, but I will spend every day earning it if you let me. You looked at her face. Broken, scared, honest. You want to come home? You asked. She nodded. Yes. You want another chance? Yes. You want to rebuild the trust you destroyed? Her lips trembled. With every breath I have. You stepped back from the doorway. You will sleep in the guest room, you said. We talk every night. We set rules. We rebuild from zero. She nodded fast. Anything. You lie once, you said. And you pack your suitcase again. For good. She held her breath. I will tell the truth. You opened the door wider. She stepped inside like she expected the floor to disappear under her feet. The house felt different with her in it again. Broken, fragile, but real. That night, she stayed silent at dinner. Her eyes stayed on you, scared to speak, scared to breathe wrong. When dishes were done, she walked to you and whispered, "Thank you." You walked past her, upstairs. You stopped at the guest room door and handed her a blanket. "You earn this home back piece by piece." She nodded. You turned away and walked toward your room. Behind you, her voice broke again. "Do you still love me?" You paused. You didn't answer, because forgiveness is not a sentence spoken. It is a path walked, and you had not decided how far that path goes. Yes, you closed your bedroom door and stood in the dark. You listened to the silence, not the heavy silence from the night before. A different silence, a silence full of tension, fear, and the first thin thread of change. You slept light. When morning came, she was already awake. You found her in the kitchen making breakfast. Not loud, not cheerful, careful, respectful. She placed a plate on the table and took a step back, as if she stood in the home of a stranger. You sat across from her. She kept her eyes low. "Thank you for letting me stay," she said softly. "This is day one," you answered. She nodded. "I know." After breakfast, you went to work. You left her alone in a house where your trust used to live. You wondered if she would message him again. You wondered if she would delete more things. You wondered if she would fool you one more time. You checked your phone at lunch. No messages from her. No calls. No panic. When you arrived home that evening, she was cleaning the living room. Not for show, not for praise. Her eyes were red. She had been crying. You walked past her without speaking. She followed. "Can we talk?" she asked. You sat on the couch. She sat on the other side. "What do you want to say?" She took out her phone. She unlocked it. She placed it in your hand. "Go through everything," she said. "Messages, apps, social accounts. Nothing is hidden." You looked at the screen. Every message, every call, every contact. Clean, honest, empty where he used to be. She spoke with a steady voice. "I blocked him everywhere. I changed my number. I deleted his pictures. I told my friends what I did. Not to shame him, to shame myself. I need people who hold me accountable." You set the phone on the table. Good. Her shoulders dropped in relief, but she did not smile. She did not reach for your hand. She respected the space you gave. That night, she slept in the guest room again. You stared at the ceiling for hours. You felt torn. Part of you wanted her gone forever. Part of you remembered the good years. The laughter, the promises. The life you built before one message tore the ground out from under you. The next morning, you found her sitting at the table with a list in her hand. "What is that?" You asked. "Rules," she said. "For myself." You raised an eyebrow. She handed you the paper. No private messages with men. No deleted calls. Phone open at all times. Weekly counseling? No secrets, no lies. If anything feels wrong, speak before acting. Your hands shook slightly while reading. Not because you were impressed, because you never expected her to confront her flaws with such direct honesty. "Who wrote this?" You asked. "I did," she said. "I needed structure. I need reminders of what kind of wife I want to be." You folded the paper and placed it on the table. "Sit," you said. She sat across from you, nervous. "You think rules fix everything?" "No," she answered. "I think effort fixes everything." You nodded slowly. "We go to therapy tomorrow." She breathed out a shaky breath. "I will be there." The next day, you sat beside her in a small office. The therapist listened, asked questions. You talked about trust. She talked about temptation. You talked about respect. She talked about insecurity. She didn't shift blame. She didn't point fingers. She admitted she wanted attention more than honesty. When the session ended, the therapist asked, "Why are you both here?" You answered, "Because I want to see if there is something left to save." Your wife answered, "Because I want to earn back a place in his heart." You left the office in silence. She waited for you to speak first. You did not, but while you walked to the car, she slipped her hand near yours. Not touching, not assuming, waiting. You let her take your hand. That night, she moved a pillow and blanket to the couch. You stopped her. "You sleep in the guest room," you said. "Not on the couch," she gave a small nod. "Thank you." Days passed. She followed every rule she wrote. She checked in. She talked instead of hiding. She cried where she used to lie. You watched her rebuild trust, one small action at a time. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It was slow and steady. One night, after a long day at work, you walked upstairs. She was in the guest room folding laundry. She looked up, surprised to see you there. "Can I talk to you?" You asked. She nodded fast. "Of course." You sat on the edge of the bed. "Why didn't you stop?" You asked. "Why didn't you think about the damage earlier?" Her voice was quiet. "Because I thought I was safe. I thought you would never find out. I thought I managed everything. I didn't care about the truth. Only the thrill." She wiped her eyes. "I thought I needed him. But after that night, when you told me to leave, I understood something. I never needed him. I needed to feel wanted. I needed someone to say I still had value. I should have asked you for that. I should have worked on us instead of building a secret with someone else." You stared at her face. Not the face of a liar anymore. The face of a woman stripped, down to the truth. "You hurt me," you said. "I know. You broke something. I know. I am still angry. Every right to be." Silence held both of you. Then you spoke again. "But I want to try." Her breath broke. Tears rolled down her face fast. She covered her mouth to hold back sobs. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you." You stood and walked to your room. You left the door open. That small gesture meant more to her than flowers, words, or apologies. She slept in the guest room for another week. No rush, no pressure. Then one night, you walked to her door and knocked. "You can sleep with me tonight," you said. She placed her hand in yours and followed. She didn't cling. She didn't rush. She stayed quiet and grateful. In the morning, you woke with her head on your chest. And for the first time since the night she tried to sneak out for someone else, you didn't feel anger. You felt peace, not perfect peace, but enough to take the next step. Months passed. Therapy continued. Trust returned in small pieces. Your marriage changed. You talked more. You listened. You chose each other every day, instead of assuming the love was automatic. One night, she handed you her phone and said, "Check everything." You pushed it back gently. "I don't need to." Tears filled her eyes. Not from guilt this time, from relief. She held your hand and whispered, "Thank you for giving us a future." You kissed her forehead. "Thank you for fighting for it." She never spoke to Jake again. He disappeared from both your lives. No messages, no calls, no trace, because she understood something she once ignored. Attention is cheap, loyalty is priceless, and trust is earned in silence, not promises. Some marriages end the moment betrayal begins. Others rebuild from the ground up. If you want another story about love, loyalty, and second chances, the next episode arrives tomorrow. And if you want the most emotional stories all in one place, download the free collection in the description. One of those stories might feel like your own.